I love this post. I have to I don't know even if I have much to add to this post, but I have to tell you guys about this. This guy or girl is on point. The title of this is A Tip Overlooked by Society. Yes! Yes! Don't feel like you have to hide or even overcome your anxiety. Just learn. I would add, learn to live with it instead. Listen, anxiety, it's a more like a personality trait. The same way that we have there's different people in our society, right? Just kind of like ants. Ants have different types of ants for different types of tasks, right? They have warrior ants, they have worker ants. We have the same thing. We have defensive people and we have offensive people. Our defensive people are the anxious people. They're the people who build castles because they're afraid somebody will raid them in the middle of the night, right? Then they build a moat around the castle because they're afraid, right? They're the people who check the doors, make sure everything's locked. They're the doctors, they're the lawyers. Doctors make sure that you are taken care of. They make sure that not to leave a sponge inside of you. There's actually a higher incident rates of anxiety disorders amongst doctors, OCD actually, and lawyers apparently. It makes them good at their job, right? And we also have our fighters. These are our fearless people. These are people who don't have anxiety, but they tend to have other problems like aggression. Sometimes they get too aggressive and they become violent in our society, right? So your problem might be anxiety and you might develop panic disorders. Meanwhile, the people that are the warriors of a society, they also have their own problems. They might get incarcerated and spend half their lives behind bars because they did something stupid, right? So there's no perfection. No one on this earth is a picture perfect like you know uh, human being. No one's like that. I despise it when and therapists are guilty of this. I despise when people portray that that this perfection. Absolutely cannot stand it because it creates bad expectations, and therapists especially are should not be doing this. But unfortunately, we do that because of marketing, right? And unfortunately, that happens with that. Therapists are trying to portray like, I am so calm, and you want to be like me, and so you should come to me because I'm trying to make you my client. You see my Buddha nature? Yes, you want my Buddha nature. Yes. Horseshit, right? But it's marketing. It's marketing. That's it's unfortunate, but that's what it is. Um, it's even worse in the coaching world. Woo! I don't know if you've ever looked at some of the marketing tactics in the coaching world. Oh, it is dirty. It is dirty and full of poo poo. Anyways, I deviated. I love this thing. But before I get into this, I want to read this to you. I want to read this to you, and if there's something I can add, I will add because this really gives you a good perspective of what your relationship to anxiety should be. But before I go in there, let me do my little spiel, introduce myself. My name is A.J.B. I'm a psychotherapist in New Jersey, New York. What I'm doing with these videos is the same thing that I do with therapy. I'm trying to help as many people as possible, just in a different mode, right? Different medium. Therapy is one thing. Self-help videos, encouraging videos, whatever it is, whatever you want to label this, is another. My hope is that it's gonna help you and or help somebody else. However, I have a problem. It's just I'm a baby little channel, a brand new channel, and I need your help. I need your help to get these videos out there. So please share these videos. If even if this video doesn't speak to you, it's gonna speak to somebody else. It's just like book. Like just like books. They say that a good book is the one that takes you just a step further, right? The same thing with these videos. Even if it doesn't speak to you, it might speak to somebody else. It might just take them a step further. And all it takes for you to do is just hit that share button. Share, send it somewhere. I don't know, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're socialized, wherever you congregate with your friends. Just share it, because you don't know what someone's going through. Your friends, of course, do you share everything with your friends? Probably not. Your friends probably don't share it. Most people, I think, don't share it. I think it's rare that people have those open relationships where they really say that their deepest fears and pains. Um, you know, so share it because you might help somebody. You might help somebody greatly. with such a small act, you know? So please do that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe. That also helps the YouTube algorithm wake up. Um, and there'll be more videos, helpful videos. Leave your comments too, because I piggyback off of what other people write. So that's how I come up with the content ideas. So if you guys just ask me questions directly, it's just a whole lot easier. So now let me just jump into it. Let me read this to you because I think this person does a great job of portraying this. And this person is only 25, and I'm so impressed with what he or she is saying. He or she says, I'm 25, and as someone who's experienced anxiety as a child and even worse as an adult, I have grown to have a good understanding of my anxiety. For example, I know that when I'm excited or happy, I will have nervous anxiety that will give me similar symptoms to a fearful negative anxiety, like shaking, sweating, flushing, dry throat, racing heart, etc. I've been through various therapies, and while they've given me tools to help control my anxiety, I also realize that I will struggle with anxiety my whole life, as that's the only way I've ever felt and know how to feel. So, I don't necessarily agree with that you have to struggle with it. You can come to a relationship with it, come to have a relationship with it. Like, let me give you an example. I mean, the loudest example I can think of, it's actually from not from someone who's seeing me um, for anxiety. This is actually from a couples counseling, and it's even not, it's not even the person. It's like an extended family. So I just know about them, and I know the type of people that they are. So I have an idea, and not everybody deals with their anxiety by being neurotic and being uncomfortable and miserable. Other people deal with their anxiety by controlling their environment. So highly controlling people, they tend to be anxious people, right? They have found a way to exist with their anxiety in their environment. They go above and beyond to control people around them, which is not necessarily good, but it's not necessarily terrible either. It is what it is. It is what it is. I can't knock a particular lifestyle just because, as a society as a whole, we say, "Oh, that's bad." Of course, what's bad? I mean, there's only certain things I can say that are very bad. Like, for example, destroying somebody's self-esteem, self-worth. That's bad. But being controlling doesn't necessarily do that, right? It's just a way of existing. It's a personality trait. Some people might refer to these people as passionate, highly passionate people, right? That passion comes from somewhere. It comes from energy. That energy is coming from anxiety in a lot of cases. Not saying all cases, but in a lot of cases. So I don't know if I think this person that wrote this, I love what he or she is saying, but I think he could go deeper with that and change the word of struggle to adapt, to accept, and maybe even move away from the word anxiety, because anxiety doesn't have a purpose. I don't like words that don't have a purpose. When we don't have a when we use words that don't have a purpose, it leaves us purposeless. So I have anxiety. Right? All you feel is like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? I have anxiety. What do you do with anxiety? I don't know. But if you say something like, I am afraid that if she doesn't do X, Y, or Z, then bad things will happen. What kind of bad things? I won't get a job. I won't make money. I will be broke. I'll lose my house. Boom. Now that's different. Now this is not just anxiety. Now I am afraid. Now this is actionable. This is actionable. I don't know what's going to happen. What can I do? I got to find out. Find out. Be the person who finds out. Be the person who has a better relationship with anxiety by finding out, by finding answers, by asking when you don't know, asking. When if somebody, I don't know, maybe you're anxious about a social gathering and you don't know who's gonna be there. Find out, ask. Be that person. That's your relationship to anxiety, right? You need more information than someone who doesn't have anxiety, right? So, like if I gave that example of the warrior, right? Was it this video that I gave that example? I can't remember. Today I'm on a roll. I'm making a bunch of videos, so I don't remember if this is the video that I made that comparison between warrior and um, protector, right? Anxious people are the protectors. Warriors are the people who tend to have anger problems, right? Um, which is odd because warrior, not warrior, not worry. I'm worrying, but fighting. You know what I mean? Um, Crap, I lost track of what I was saying now. You know what? I lost track of what I was saying. I don't want to leave too many dead spaces in the video, so let me just jump back into it. Maybe it'll come back to me if it was important. Um, so I've been through various therapy, blah, blah, blah. I also realized that I will struggle. Okay, right, the struggle point. I will struggle with my anxiety my whole life, as that's the only way I've ever felt and know how to feel. It's also how my body naturally reacts. Absolutely, it's how your body naturally reacts. You have a stronger fear response. My extra adrenaline makes me good at fitness. It's true. Yeah, yeah, you're jacked up a lot, so you got a lot to burn. And I do strongly recommend to people who have anxiety, work out. That's something I gotta do. Oh man, I've been slacking on it. I've just been gaining this belly. I used to work out and then I stopped, and I gotta get back into it. Okay. Anyways, no matter how much positive thinking I do or what techniques I use, I will always get major anxiety over situations I don't want to be in, and even anxiety at random times. Yeah, but I've come to the realization that fighting this and feeling bad about having these symptoms only makes me feel worse about it. Absolutely. Don't fight it. Work with it. Don't fight it. Work with it. So when your anxiety tells you, oh my God, tomorrow I have that meeting and that presentation, I don't know what to do. What if I screw it up? Okay, then what do you do to address that uncertainty, that fear? Prepare. Prepare. You might have no choice. You can't be a bum. You see people bumming around. As an anxious person, you can't just bum around and be like, yeah, whatever, presentation, presentation. You can't be that. You might have to be a workaholic. You might have to be a driven individual because that's what is your natural nature. Don't fight your nature. You know, work with your nature, roll with your nature. You got strengths that are with you. You got this life within you. You think of it that way. That all that buzzing energy, that's life. You know. And feeling bad about and feeling bad. This is because our society creates this, like exactly. That's why I love this. A tip overlooked by society. Our society tells us that the right person is doesn't shake his leg, doesn't shake like this. The correct person sits proper and is calm. Yes, that's what our society says. That is a valuable human being. That is what we like. That is what we believe is normal. But that's bullshit because even the people who are spreading this kind of crap aren't like that. Even the people who are spreading these kinds of ideals aren't like that. And I know this because I see it firsthand. I used to see it when I used to be part of more engrossed amongst therapists, the therapist community. I'm not so much anymore. But I saw so much of that, man, like the people who help are sometimes the guiltiest of doing this crap themselves. And I'm sorry for that. So, you know, you can be exactly as you are. If you're the guy who likes to shake his leg, be the guy who likes to shake his leg. This is you. This is your life. This is what shows that you got life coursing through your veins. Like, why are you shaking your legs? Because I'm alive. you know. Can you get with that? Can you get what I'm trying to communicate here? The attitude, the different attitude. All right, let's move on. We are constantly taught by society that we can overcome this anxiety and we must fight it, etc. Yeah, yeah. Work with it. Don't fight it. It's part of you. It's not a bad thing. It's a quality. It's a personality trait. But I just don't think there's anything wrong with it in admitting you having anxiety. See, I would change the wording too. It's not an anxiety disorder. It's a disorder only if you don't have a good relationship with it. But if you have a good relationship with it, see, I'm very bouncy. Like, you should see some of the videos from, from when I went to the park. That's because I just have more. And so do you. You have more. Connect with that. See, there's one thing I can tell you this. You can look at anxiety one of two ways and try this out. Now, this doesn't always work. So try this a handful of times, and because I'm hoping that you can that this works for you. You can frame anxiety. You can frame that feeling as anxiety, or you can frame it as excitement. Right? He actually mentions this. It's the same damn thing. It is actually the same damn thing. They've done studies on this. They here's a study. Basically, they had an actor in there, so this was like a conspirator, right? Their job was to be either annoying or hilarious, and they split people into two groups. The subjects, the test subjects, they were just regular people who really willfully are participating in this experiment. And half of the group they jacked up with adrenaline. The other half they just gave them water, right? But they thought they were getting something. They do that to control for placebo effect. And what they found was that the ones who were jacked up on adrenaline, they found the funny actor funnier and the annoying person more annoying, right? So, in other words, adrenaline, what we feel depends on the context, right? You can feel excited if you convince yourself that you're excited, or you can feel just I'm scared. It depends on what you pay attention to. So next time, here's this is where I apply this. This is where I apply this. I remember I tried to apply this when I was approaching a girl. I was trying to pick up a girl, and I tried to focus more on the excitement of the approach, on the excitement of, wow, I'm about to get to talk to a girl, and she's pretty, and this is gonna be cool because I'm just gonna get to interact with her. I set my standards low. I just said to myself, like, even if she doesn't want to talk to me, at least I get to be in her vicinity for a little bit, and I get to talk to her, and it's just gonna be cool. Even if she says no and she doesn't gives me the cold shoulder, at least I get to kind of like sort of like rub shoulders with greatness, kind of an idea. So in this case, rub your shoulders with cuteness, so that idea helped me to connect to the excitement, and I still felt a little bit of anxiety. I'm not gonna lie, but I felt more at ease with it at this point. Like when I was bouncing, and I wasn't. It wasn't like an anxiety that closes you in. I don't know if you know what I mean, but like there's an anxiety that kind of closes you in. You're just like you like this. Oh, I feel so uncomfortable. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I feel so uncomfortable. Oh, I hate this. Like you're replaying this narrative in your head about how much you hate this. Well, there's a different kind of thing. Well, there's excitement. It's like, oh man, this is so cool. Oh, I get to talk to her. Like you're all smiles. You're smiling. It's like, oh wow. I wonder what her name is. Like, hey, what's your name? Like I just saw you here, and I thought I'd say hi. And whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's literally what you do because you're so confused and so excited. But it's just a different vibe. It's just you come off differently, and you feel differently. Like this high energy stuff feels so much different. This excited, high energy. Hey, what do you want to do? Hey. What am I going to do later tomorrow? Oh, I have this stupid work. Okay, let me get this stupid work out of the way. Blah, 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 blah. You quickly type it up, and then you go out there. And you go out to the thing that excites you. Attend more to the excitement. Try this. Try this. That might help you gain a better relationship to your anxiety. Okay. Um, don't allow yourself to stay in that locked-in ball of anxiety. Come out of it by being excited about the world around you. Okay. So enough of that. So don't be afraid to tell people. I'm going back to reading what he's saying. Or she. So don't be afraid to tell people my hands are just shaking because I have anxiety, or I'm sorry. No, because I'm excited. My hands are shaking because I'm excited. Or if you're afraid, my hands are shaking because I'm terrified. Right? Now don't say I have anxiety because again, that's an actionless word. That you can't turn it into something. You got to go beyond anxiety. Why are you feeling this feeling? Anxiety is just a feeling. Anxiety is just a sensation. Why are you feeling it? Forget the sensation because by referring to the sensation, you're moving farther away from the truth, right? It's like describing the symptom and not the cause. You're talking about the symptom and not the cause. Anxiety is a symptom. Talk about the cause, right? I'm shaking because I am terrified of having to give this speech in 5 minutes, right? Or I'm shaking because you told me I have to approach this girl, and I'm terrified of rejection. So identify it, and that's okay. That is totally okay for you to say. Or he says another example. I'm so excited that I feel nervous. It's just my anxiety. No, I'm so excited I can't control myself. That I can't contain myself. That's better. Better in my view. That's better. Better framing. Better, more natural. Right? That's more natural, isn't it? More natural. It's more natural to me, at least. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. You don't always have to suppress and control your symptoms. No, no, that's the most awful feeling. Hate. I hate the feeling of trying to appear put together. I would 1,000 times over would rather shake my leg, 1,000 times over, you know, or twiddle my thumbs, or do whatever. Just this dissipatory behavior. That's dissipatory behavior. Dogs do it too. Don't feel bad. A lot of creatures do it. Humans too. I'd rather do that. Do that. Do that. Don't. Oh, that the locked in. That it's almost like it takes energy to contain it, and when you contain it, it feels just awful. It's better to let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Ugh. Yeah. Just thinking about it makes me ugh. Um, yeah, just to make other people think you're normal. Nah, you're normal. There's so many people that are normal who are like just jitterers. They're just shakers and jitterers. I remember I got in trouble actually in school for being jittery. I It was a parent teacher conference. My teacher called me in because I was fighting in school. I wasn't fighting. I was just friends with like this kid who got left back like 3 times. He was my best friend, and we had, I guess, borderline violent games. But we weren't fighting. We gave each other piggyback rides, and we crashed into other people. She thought we were fighting, and I was nervous, so I was like swaying back and forth, swaying back and forth, swaying back and forth, swaying back and forth, and she tells me to stop. Wow, bad idea, man. When she told me to stop, all of that energy had nowhere to go. Right? I was coping with it just fine. I had my way of coping with it. That's my nature. My nature is to be energetic. It's to do bang, boing, 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 boing. That's my nature, right? And she tells me to stop. That energy has nowhere to go. And guess where it went? It went into rage. I don't know why it went into rage, but it went straight into rage. I I I couldn't contain the feeling in that moment. And I flipped out. I screamed something. I was like only like 10 years old, but I know I screamed something, and I punched the wall on the way out, made a big stink, and ran home. Um, so and then guess what happened to me? And it's funny because what happened to me is that I started learning I have to be still. I have to be still. And I started trying to do that, and to this day, I'm still trying to undo it. I just like this old habit dies hard. A lot of this actually I picked up in training as a therapist, which is a terrible example that I'm giving for my clients, to be honest. But I picked up a lot of this in being a therapist because all the behavior that was modeled by our therapist was perfectly calm. Well, because I guess it is soothing to a lot of people, right? If you're sitting in front of someone who's perfectly calm, it's soothing. But then you also start trying to model that, and that just might not be you, man. That just might it's definitely not me. And so when I do that in therapy, when I try to be perfectly still, sometimes I am actually in that mood where I'm just actually just chilled out, like totally chilled out, you know. But when I there are times where I'm not, when I'm feeling some fire burning inside of me, and instead of allowing myself to bounce or get more energetic or get more excited about what's happening in the session, I I hold it in, and it feels awful. It feels awful, and I hope you don't do that. I hope you don't do that. And if you have been doing that, stop doing that. Life will feel 1,000 times better if you stop doing that. All right, let's go on. I think we're almost done in 25 minutes. Man, I got this, but I think this is a good video. So hopefully, you're gonna get something out of this. For me, that takes so much of the fear of these symptoms away. Wait, let me backtrack. He says, you don't always have to suppress and control your symptoms just to make other people think you are normal or as if you are not having these symptoms. Right. Yeah, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. But I think it's appropriate. Again, just frame it the right way. Don't just say it's anxiety. Say, my hands are shaking because I'm shitting my pants about that exam that's coming up. My hands are shaking because I'm so excited I can't contain myself. It sounds better. It sounds more natural. If you say just, and it gets to the root of the cause. Whereas if you just say anxiety, you're leaving it vague. And you know what? There is a risk in doing that, I think. This is very theoretical. I'm not sure if this necessarily happens, but it could happen. I've seen it happen. I don't know. I've seen the theorized outcome of it. I don't know if this is how people get there. But sometimes I see people who struggle to understand why they're feeling what they're feeling. Like, why am I feeling anxious, right? I'm guilty of that too. And I think part of the reason is that we've gotten into a habit of just saying, I'm feeling anxious. That's meaningless. I'm scared. Now that's meaningful. I'm nervous. Nervous about what? Nervous about this and that. I am excited, right? This is meaningful. They're excited about what? I'm excited about this and that, right? This is meaningful. I think so. I think because we get into the habits of labeling it as this vague word anxiety, which doesn't isn't really meaningful. It just describes symptoms. Because we get used to talking about symptoms and not the causes, we actually lose track of the causes, and we end up, at least theoretically, causing ourselves problems down the line by getting into the habit of not connecting to the actual cause, right? So connect to the cause. And of course, it's totally cool to do that. If you make it sound normal to other people are going to be normal about it too. Oh yeah, he can't contain himself. He must be really damn excited. Holy shit. Okay, cool. You know, it's I think like that's just gonna the roles of people's shoulders when they make it when they hear it more normal, right? I think like it's more understandable, right? Like, yeah, okay, I can understand being excited. Anyway, he goes on to say, for me, that takes so much of the fear of these symptoms away. And yes, people will know that I have anxiety over the smallest of things, like grabbing a coffee with them or even seeing family. But at the end of the day, see, I would want to break down more about, get real about what kind of anxieties you're having about getting a coffee. Like, what are you afraid of? So it's the actual statement would be like, I'm afraid about to grab coffee with you. Why are you afraid? Well, we're gonna sit down at the Starbucks, and there's gonna be people looking at me. I'm nervous that they're gonna judge me, right? Okay, that's workable. Okay, so you're nervous that they're gonna judge you. We can test that out. How about we go to Starbucks, sit down, and we'll both look. We'll just look out, and we'll see who's judging you, and we'll examine exactly what evidence we have that they are in fact judging you. Are they making faces? Are they going like, hmm? Or are they going like, ugh? Like, how are they communicating judgment? They're not. That's just the reality. They're not communicating judgment, um, right? But make it actionable, because once you make it actionable, you could do something about it. Or if it's just about like I have this thing. I hate crowds. I hate crowds because I it's hard for me. It's like a safety thing. It's hard for me to monitor everybody around me. I think it's just an anxiety thing. If I really wanted to dig through my past, I would say maybe it's because when I was as a kid growing up in Poland, you get into a lot of fights. But I was like very young, like 10 years old, which I guess are impressionable ages. But yeah, you get into a lot of scuffles with older kids. Older kids, you get your butt whooped by. Younger kids, you can hold your own. You got to make a name for yourself whenever you switch schools. It was really cheesy. Uh, Maybe that's where it comes from. But I never liked crowds because I couldn't monitor everybody. It took me so much effort to monitor everybody around me. Who's behind me? Who's to the left of me? Who's to the right of me? And that's why I feel much more relaxed, like out in open spaces, or just where there's fewer people, because it's just one person, easy to track. Um, but why am I bringing this up? No, I have anxiety over the smallest things, like grabbing coffee with them or something. But at the end of the day, I forgot why I brought this up. Oh, why did I bring this up? I wish you could tell me. I wish you could remind me what I was saying. Well, whatever. It's, you know what? It's this is half an hour. Um, it's a half an hour. I don't remember why I brought this up. I had a point to drive home, but it's just something about the anxiety that I feel. around around in crowds. That I don't like crowds. Um, yeah. Oh, maybe that's where I was going. So maybe that's where I was going. Man, if you stood through that, if you stayed with me through that silence, props to you. If you didn't X out of this video while I was sitting there thinking, trying to find what I was trying to say. So what I think I was trying to get at is that again, if you make your nervousness actionable, kind of like with my example that I just gave, it's about safety, right? I don't like when I don't know who's behind me, I need to be able to track people to feel safe, that no one's going to jump me from the back, right? Which actually, now that I think about it, damn, that is my childhood. That is exactly my childhood. I remember the amount of times that kids would be like, "Want to shake on it?" and then whack. Man, I lost track. That's how it's been. Um, so, but I can address that. Knowing that in crowds, I can, for example, stand against a wall. Right? If I stand against a wall, no one's behind me. It's easy for me to track people, all around me. Right? So you can make things more manageable when you move from the symptom to the cause. Right? If you know the cause, you know how to address it. So that's it. Let me wrap it up here. Please, I beg you, share this video. I mean, I think this was a good one. I feel like this was a good one. I think this is going to be helpful. If it wasn't helpful to you, then damn, I missed the mark. But I think it has a good chance of helping a lot of people, because I think this is an important topic that needs to be brought up. And I am so thankful to this person right here, in need of an answer, in need of answers. No, sorry. In need of answers 22. Props to you, man or woman. Like, this is spot on. I love this wisdom. This is great. You're only 25, man. I can't wait to hear what you're going to say when you're 35, because this was awesome. We need to hear this. We needed to hear this. So, yeah, I think this is very useful. Please share it with other people. Share it with your networks, whatever. Um, it's going to help. It's going to help. Somebody's going to be helped by this, by redefining their relationship to anxiety. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of this. And I will see you in the next one.